Hey guys, what's up and welcome to the channel, the Shotgun Shogun, and this is part 2 of the Shotgun Shogun Champion Cup bracket announcement. I am joined by Deity, and if you haven't watched the last episode, video, whatever I call it, you can either go watch that afterwards or you can watch that now. You can pause it, go watch it. It really doesn't matter the order. They're all fighting in this. So regardless, this is going to be for the tournament that is going to be on September 5th. And what are they fighting for? They're fighting for the last spot in the 1K Shotgun Shogun September Showdown. That's right, $1,000 prize pool, biggest tournament in Epic7 history. That's right. Not only though are the participants going to be getting some big money, but so is chat. We're going to have a lot of stuff for chat. We're going to have a lot of stuff for the participants, but you are not here for any of that. You just want to know who is going to be duking it out and what their playstyles are and what we think of them. At least I think that's why you're here, because you clicked on this video. But we're going to start off with Verdi V. Now, Verdi V is coming from the global server, which is a lot of our players. They're in Veritas, which is actually one of the top 3, I believe, guilds last season, which means you don't get to top 3 without being pretty decent unless they're a bench player that's just along for the ride, but I'm pretty sure that he's not. Now, in RTA season previously, he answered when I asked, hey, what's your season rank? He indicated, does decay to masters after rage quitting of losing 10 plus games in a row due to server disconnect count. Now, first off, I would ask, after the first 5, wouldn't you just take a break and figure out what is wrong with your cell service or your internet? But if you go 10 plus games with server disconnect and decay, then yes, that's perfectly acceptable because you're in top 3 guild wars. So we'll make up for that. So anyways, Alencia is going to be his go-to pick. Now, he indicates that he's most known for being free to play, but also RNG carried. Now, if you're in the top 3 guild and you're free to play, you're probably a pretty good player. You manage your resources pretty solid. Not only that, but now he has the option of being like, hey, I won free to play. Without the, by the way, just free to play, homie. So that's pretty cool. Bruiser style, which is actually one of the easier styles of play to gear as a free to play player. So it'll be interesting to see what he brings out into the tournament. I do believe I may have seen the name here and there in RTA as I was playing, but not very well known. So yes.
One question with that is, if you're free to play and you win a tournament and get all the prize money from the tournament and put that into the game, are you technically still free to play since that's not your money?
Yes, actually, I think that I've had that conversation before with people because they've said, hey, if you use YouTube or Twitch money to pay for summons, can you still claim that you're free to play? And I think maybe yes, or donations. I don't know. You can still say that you are. Maybe they don't. Maybe they use the money to go buy chicken nuggets and they don't use it on summons because obviously they're good enough to win a tournament. They don't need to put that money in for leaf packs.
Fair enough. Okay, but that aside, getting into the next contestant, it is Niltark. So Niltark, I really like his playstyle, or well, I like one of his units he uses and the way that he uses it. So he's from the global server as well. His guild is unskilled. His previous RTA season rank was high champion. He made it to legend a few times, but he would int out and then back in and int out. And he says that he couldn't try hard because of his time zone, and he had to work. I guess during the last day he had to work, which is really, it sucks. You got to plan off work ahead of time next time if you can during the last day. But he is definitely good enough to be there. So the reason I like him a lot is he utilizes Fire Tenebria, and he utilizes her not in the generic crowd control comps, say that like I do or Cafe Kaz does. It's hard to explain. Hopefully you will see it in the tournament, but it's very annoying to fight for one and very going to be fun to watch when I'm not on the receiving end of it. So what he's most known for. So he's most known for, in his opinion, his effect res units. So whenever you play crowd control and you have units that have effectiveness, you usually see what it does to other people, and you always build that counter of what you do to other people. So he heavily invested into his effectors units, and I'm not sure which ones he uses actually. So I don't know if that's what he'd be best known for, but I'm sure they're actually crazy if he's putting them on there. And he also gets a lot of ML5 duplicates. And then his primary playstyle, he says he doesn't really have any notable strengths or weaknesses. He just feels like he's an overall like balanced player, and he says that he is very good at anti-CC, which is going back to his effectors unit. So I'm hoping someone tries to CC him in the tournament, and we can see these units he's hyping up here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I do remember playing against him in the previous season, right? And I do believe I actually ran into some of his ER units, and it was like I would bring in a Dizzy or something along that lines, and I would have just, you know, this crazy amount of effectiveness on there, and just nothing lands. And you're just kind of like, bro, I have so much effectiveness. Is then like after the second or third time of getting resisted, you're like, there's no way that this is that this is the 15%. This dude's got to have like, you know, 500 effect resist. And yeah, typically players don't flaunt their effect resist unless it's like impressive effect resist, right? You know, I'm not gonna I flaunt my DJ Bassar when I had like 300 effect resist on him, so that's usually when you flaunt it. Now I don't know how often in this tournament he's going to be able to flex the anti-CC. We do have a couple of crowd control players, so it'll be interesting to see if that comes out, but I definitely do think that he is a very good player. And one of the things that you brought up previously in the other video is that, you know, he's from Unskilled, which is, you know, we have a very diverse group of guilds represented in this, as well as servers, because our next player is from the Asia server, first one that's not global, and that is going to be Maxon. He is from the guild Manglanasol. Mangle nasal. He was champion rank. His rank, he said, was 1568, which is about what, middle of the pack. I forget where it goes down to. Favorite pick is Yuna, and he's most known for Yuna and Sid. Also Cleaves.
I hate fighting him.
You hate fighting him, so it looks like we've got some history here with Deity. Tell us about this player.
He just cleaves the snot out. I'm a really weak against cleave players, and his Sid cleave is very strong, and I feel like he's almost perfected it. No matter what I pick, he's got a different unit, different speed imprint, different something to make it work. So it's going to be very exciting seeing a very established cleaver coming into this tournament against a lot of bruiser players. So I'm going to see if people are able to counter him, and I'm going to take notes because I need some help.
You need some help, yeah. No, I haven't ran into any Unicleavers, but I have ran into Sid cleavers previously, and I actually ran into one just the other day. And the Sid, I brought in my Fire Ravi because I'm like, elemental advantage, you know, what is that? Doesn't exist. This Sid hit my Fire Ravi, crit for like 30,000 damage, and I'm just like, oh. And then I winked at him and yielded out. I was like, okay. So it'll be interesting to see. Sids, Green Sids and Moonlight Sids both are real nutty. And I actually think that the single target cleave, I guess you can't really call it cleave per se, but those types of teams are actually really tough, especially if they can just take out your key unit. Not only that, but one of the things is if you start seeing a cleave setup, immediately you start drafting things for an AoE cleave, right? And then if they switch to that single target Akali Sid, Assassin Sid, it's harder to kind of adjust back, right? Because it's like, oh, you picked Elena too early, and then they go, haha, joke's on you. We're all single target now. Yeah. So we single target boys. Good luck with that, Elena. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, next name, I can't read moon runes, so they said to just call them Joseph Joestar.
So Joseph Joestar, he's from the global server. His guild is Epic Poof. which is another guild we haven't said yet, which is
Never.
it's
Yep.
super cool seeing all the different people. But then our previous RTA season rank, he said he was in champion 1, or well, no, champion. I was around 23 to 2,500 points, so he's about the middle of the pack. So not sure which rank, but that gives you an estimate of he was about the same as Maxon was, it sounds like. So it's still very, very high up there champion player. His go-to pick is a Water Rose, though. See, he is not from Fleet, but wow, he's a Water Rose user.
Water Rose, that's the cheat Fleet strat.
Exactly. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe Fleet cheated and stole it from Joseph Joestar.
Maybe, but I do know that I believe he has participated in a couple of the Cafe Kaz tournaments. I recognize the name, but he does say he's cleave variable, which if your favorite pick is Water Rose, again, that's typically an enabler for some sort of bruiser cleave, right? You don't typically see a Water Rose in like a Judge Kisei cleave or a BBK cleave or anything along those lines. I do think that it's really surprising that Water Rose hasn't been picked up on, right? I think is like an enabler and even like a mitigation unit and like a cycler. Water Rose is a very, very strong pick. And just that tell alone means that we're probably going to see some sort of bruiser cleave, which is always super fun to see. So I'm actually kind of excited to see what he gets out of this one. I have seen the second name, and again, it was Moon Runes, so we're using the normal name here, but this is going to be Bora, and Bora is going to be from the global server as well. Guild is Oath, again another new guild representation here. He was in champion previously, and now he's hovering in and out of legend. Now I have played against him before. Like I said, I do recognize the name. I have seen him in and out of legend. We've played a couple of times. His favorite go-to pick is Vivian, best known for he doesn't know, but he plays cleave and crowd control. I really like the Vivian pick, right? I actually recently built my Vivian. It's actually been a little bit now, but I always got dumpstered toilet bowled by Vivians. Vivian is a very tough unit to go against, right? Because if you start picking any sort of debuff, they go into Vivian, and Vivian's not just I'm going to put up debuff immunity. I'm going to put up debuff immunity and then instantly delete your team next turn. And she's very, very hard to lock down, right? Because chances are, they're going to ban an Alencia. They're going to ban whoever's going to try to strip off the debuff immunity. And it is usually a later in the draft pick so that you can draft Vivian into favorable situations. You picked 1 or 2 water units, get ready to get toilet bowled. So having the cleave CC comps and being able to pick Vivian is very strong. Like I said before, we have a very wide, diverse group of people with their picks here. So it'll be interesting to see how the cleave playstyle goes up against some of these bruisers, some of these bruiser cleavers, because depending on where you are in the ladder, you have a different meta, right? So it'll be interesting to see what some of these players bring out in their cleave.
Yeah, so speaking of cleave, though, we have Louds, who is global server as well, and he is from Daohana, which I believe is Sky King's guild, or the guild Sky King's.
I think so, yeah. Yep.
So I have fought Louds a lot, and he is also another cleaver that I struggle against very heavily. So his go-to pick is a Villager. He will first pick a Villager, and then he will then transfer into a cleave, and you don't know what's happening because a Villager is a universal pick, and it's been working very well for him. Going into the tournament, though, with people knowing that, I don't know how well it'll do. But for ladder climbing, I'm pretty sure he's been in Legend most of preseason so far. But his previous rank was 120, meaning he was right outside. I'm guessing he was 120 champion, which was right outside of Legend. So he didn't quite get that Legend border. He was literally one fight away from being top 50 Legend, which is really rough. But I don't really have much else to say on him because all he put was, I'm cleaving. Cleave. Known for cleaving.
Known for cleaving. Cleaving and leaving, boys. That's so I mean, I think I've fought him a couple times. Usually I used to have problems against cleavers. I obviously wouldn't have problems against a Vildred because, well, I just pre-ban a Vildred. So a lot of times if you get a pre-ban on a Vildred, the thing is though, is in a lot of tournaments I've noticed that people don't ban a Vildred, mostly because a lot of people are a Vildred players, and they just hope that they get the first pick so that they can first pick a Vildred. The problem is if you are an a Vildred player and you do get that a Vildred pre-banned and you are a cleaver, a lot of times the first picks are going to basically, you know, tell what you're picking, right? Not only that, but if you like ban FCC or something like that, it's pretty obvious you're going to cleave, which allows people to initially set up against it, right? Like you were saying, the a Vildred first pick is very, very strong because, well, I don't know if you're gonna a Vildred and tank down. I don't know if your next pick is going to be a Vildred Crow Ruel, or if you are going to go cleaving. So if you get first pick a Vildred, I have to go, okay, do I go anti-cleave here? Am I just going to ban the Vildred? You know what? So that definitely is interesting. Like you said, yeah, cleaves. I mean, literally the last 3 players, right, have been cleavers. You know, everybody complains. They're like, oh, this is going to be a Snorefest, Bruiser Stall tournament, and it's going to be a sleeper. No. But it's really not. A lot of these people, a lot of these people are going to cleave and leave. Somebody's going to be leaving, right? But up next is going to be Ozekir. And I actually fought. Did I fight Ozekir in the last? I think I fought Ozekir in the last Cafe Kaz tournament. Maybe I'll have to go back and look, but I know Ozekir, right? I've fought against Ozekir before. Global server, again, another character, another player from Veritas. Good players, top 3 guild, high champ, go-to pick, and most known for T. Surin. And I really like T. Surin. We talked about this in the last one about people kind of picking up on T. Surin right now. I also feel that, you know, with a lot more debuffs coming in, it made T. Surin a lot stronger, right? And as a bruiser variable player, that's going to be really big. T. Surin fits into a lot of teams, even if you're not going against debuff, right? Just because of the one-shottable thing that she has, her S2 and the CR push. It's like once you get her down in there, if you go like FCC T. Surin, very, very strong. It's actually somewhat of a good counter as well to like Arbiter Vildreds, right? Because Arby's not going to kill her, gets rid of the blind, comes in through there. So it is going to be interesting to see how good of a T. Surin and what type of T. Surin, right? Because there's the lifesteal T. Surins, then there's the speed T. Surins. So it'll be interesting to see what Ozekir does with those. I don't think that I've fought Ozekir's T. Surin before, but I do know that he is a very, very strong player.
I know I fought it, but I don't remember. Everyone's been using T. Surins. They're all the same. Like, they're all annoying. So I don't know exactly, but I know Ozekir is a very strong player. He has beat me a lot on the ladder.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So going into the next person, speaking of cleaves, this is the original person that I knew for cleaving. Personally, it's Vinnie. Vinnie is from Global Server. He's in Invasion is his guild. He is obnoxious. I'll get into a little bit more shortly. His previous RTA season and rank placement, somewhere in champ, he was very high champ. He actually kind of, when I was making my closest push to Legend last season, he bullied me out like 3 times in one day. I could not stop it. So his favorite go-to pick is Arby. He's very similar to the last person I introduced, Louds, in terms of the first pick, Arby, but he is also a Sid cleaver. So he can mix up his playstyle however he wants in the middle of the draft to fully counter you. So all these, he also uses speed imprints very heavily too. So you usually get 2 speed imprints. He's taking turn 1. You just have to deal with it. But he's most known for his Unisid. So I had a game on Twitch, or streaming on Twitch, that chat was like, just pick all red against him. It was while he was bullying me. Like, just pick all fire against him. I picked all fire. I picked Lilius and K-Ron, a bunch of different fire units. He came in, his Sid one-shot my Lilius for like 25,000 damage, and then his Yuna was on Drink, and it dunked on me so hard, it killed everything else in my field.
I actually hope to see that, because that's actually something that I have been working on building, right? Is that Rengar's Drink Yuna, because very strong, and you know, especially if you get that greater attack, right?
Yeah, so
greater attack, and then just like boom, you've got the S3. You don't have to worry about crit chance, because you're just gonna crit when you finally get the S3, if anything's still alive, right? But yeah, no, I haven't fought him too many times, but I do know that whenever I have fought him, very, very fast, and you know, up until just a little bit like around the end of last season, like Cleave was the worst thing I ever went against. And then I had to sit back and go, okay, how do I counter this? That was the beginning of Eaton and like a lot of my teams that just specifically were built to counter Cleave. So no, definitely interesting too, because he's actually the second person who put down most known for Yuna Sid. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, and again, another cleaver. We're going to have a lot of high impact, high hype games here. But up next is going to be Booty Pop Triple X. Now, I have seen this name quite a few times in the ladder, in tournaments. He is from the global server, also in Mori. So that is the Kia Souls Guild. So we'll see what he brings to it. Champion, favorite go-to pick is Holiday Euphine. Now, a lot of people still on the fence about that Holiday Euphine, right? I have seen quite a few very high legend players bust out Holiday Yuffie and really do well with her. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of Holiday Yuffie he brings out, if he does. Most known for Trap House Degenerate. Was Booty Pop X in Trap House?
I'd assume so. I don't know.
Okay, maybe. So Trap House Degenerate. That's what most known for. Primary playstyle Bruiser. So I would assume that the Holiday Yuffie is probably a Bruiser style Yuffie, maybe a little bit of extra attack to take advantage of the burns.
Yeah, it's a little slower.
You know, so it will be interesting to see what bruisers that he has built up, because I mean, you could say you're a bruiser player, right? And that doesn't tell anybody what characters you actually use, because there's so many potential bruisers. There's characters that aren't bruisers that
you can make
be bruisers, like BBK. I've actually seen quite a few bruiser BBKs do crazy stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I really want to see a Holiday Euphine, and I want to see a Holiday Euphine just dumpster things, so that the vast majority of people will be upset that they did not pull Holiday Euphine.
Usually Holiday Euphine, when she gets drafted, she becomes an instant ban. You almost have to ban her. So she's just a heavy counter pick that doesn't get to see play much. But if you have her built to put her on your draft, then usually you get a free draft into certain things. So I hope to see her get played too, but it's very hard to see her get through right now.
Yeah.
Because she just has a potential. People say she's bad, but it's because they never got to see her truly shine, because in the moment she would shine, she gets banned out.
Yep.
Okay, so the next player, though, it's definitely Cafe Kaz's favorite player in this tourney. It is X-Nani. So X-Nani, he is from Global Server, from Free Havoc is his guild. The second person, I believe, from Free Havoc.
Yep.
So his previous RTA season rank is Champ. And he was medium Champ, but he's very high arena. So he's another one of those players with the golden arena border. His favorite go-to pick, he says NA, but he definitely has some. I won't spoil them. And most known for, he says, I don't think I am known. He is known. He is a CC player. He is one of the better CC players that I've seen. That's why Cafe Kaz loves him, is because when he'll come into Kaz's stream and he'll open a room and fight him, and X-Nani is just controlling everybody. And he has his units very well built. but he also has a bruiser playstyle to counteract that because, as I said earlier, most CC players also have those high effect res units to prevent that from happening to them, and then they have those to mix with the damage bruisers to kind of balance out the drafts.
Is he the one that used the Spirit's Breath Oxlot's Dizzy?
No, I don't think that's X-Nani's a Mui Tenebria.
Okay.
I don't remember who the Oxlot Spirit's Breath person was.
I'll have to go back and look at, because that was super toxic. Because if that was him, I was gonna say, okay, I found a new favorite person to back, because
it might be him, but I just know him for like he uses Mui in a lot of
X-Nani. If you're watching this and you do use Spirit's Breath Oxlot's Dizzy, please do it, because that is so toxic. So toxic. Love it. But no, I really like watching control players. Probably like one of my favorite like Bruiser Cleave CC players, probably like my two favorite styles to watch. So, and if you get noticed by Cafe Kaz for being a control player, you're a really good control player. Like, yeah. So definitely interested to see that one for sure. And again, like you said, for second person from Free Havoc. So Free Havoc representation here. Feedy64 is going to be the next one. This is going to be from Global Ruel 34. I do remember fighting that guild because I thought that name was very, very clever. So champion around top 100. That was previous RTA rank. Favorite go-to pick is Falconeer Quarry. Actually one of the most cancerous units in the entire game. I was talking to somebody just yesterday, and a very high legend player, usually top 10. We were talking about things coming up in the next season, and they said, and I agree with this, Falconeer Quarry is almost a must ban or must pick whenever she shows up on the scene, which is nutty for a 3-star, right? Most known for Lilius plus Falconeer Quarry abuse. Definitely can see that, because you get the double up into the Falconeer Quarry, you're pushing things forward. Very, very strong CC bruiser player. Definitely really like the potential here, right? Falconeer Quarry, there's quite a few actual different ways to run Falconeer Quarry, and I'm not going to spoil anybody else's build, but there was one that I went up against the other day that was just absolutely disgusting. I was so impressed with this Falconeer Quarry that I immediately messaged the person, and I was like, bro, you dumpstered me. This is so amazing. I was one of my favorite fights in like a while. But the Lilius Falconeer Quarry abuse, two of like my favorite units. I actually haven't been playing with Lilius too much lately. I need to fix that. Very, very strong characters, and I believe I have fought Feedy a couple of times, but CC Bruiser, I love it.
Yeah, it's I don't know how CC he's going to be, but the Lilius Flurry abusings kind of went into something we were talking about earlier with Unity sets. I know they're not doing that right now, but that'd be something that, for a player like him, it'd be something that could benefit him.
Imagine 3 other people on Unity sets, and then you're just jumping in there nonstop. Yeah, it'd actually be awesome. But that's a topic for another time. That's what I was thinking about the whole time you're saying. I was like, that kind of player that would thrive off that. Yeah.
All right, but to wrap this up, I believe the last player that I have on my list, at least, is Bulb. So Bulb is a troll. He is from Global. His guild is the Boot Camp. So his previous RTA season rank, he says champion. He's like, I went 0 to 10 in placements and placed bronze, but now I'm master.
Hey,
he's a very good player. He plays in all the tournaments. We all know he's trolling here. His favorite go-to picks, Lorena. I mean, everyone's seen his rage set Lorena. It just one-shots everything in the game. That's a joke. He doesn't actually use that.
It's not even Commander Lorena. It's just regular Lorena.
Regular. No, he doesn't even bother special change. He doesn't need it.
Yes.
Is most known for his Guild War Victoria Bulb.
Yeah, that's the emote. I just copy pasted it right from Discord.
Okay. I'm in a notepad. I was like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, no, it's the bulb emote.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. So his primary playstyle is through channeling the energy of the emote, the Victoria Bulb, and the art of Victoria Bulb Jutsu. I strike fear into my opponents and I crush them.
Hey, it's as long as he's got the jutsu and the energy.
Yeah, I think
it will work. What does Bulb actually play though?
To be honest, I don't even know. I think he's bruisery. He plays in every tournament and he does well.
Okay.
But I don't actually know what he plays. I probably should research
and
this.
Now nobody else does either. Not only does he have the Victoria Bulb jutsu and the Victoria Bulb energy, but he has the element of the Victoria Bulb surprise.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see if he does pull out the raid set or unspecialty changed Lorena to sweep this tournament. I'm glad we ended on that. Like, it's not a super serious, just super troll.
Yeah.
But I mean, realistically though, right? This tournament is going to be pretty nutty. And this is just going to be the precursor to an even bigger, crazier tournament, because like the names we have here, they're pretty big names, you know, pretty well-known people amongst, you know, the RTA community. The main tournament, the roster is disgusting.
Scary.
Yeah, we literally had to put this tournament together because we had so many people that wanted to get into this and so many big names that I was like, I have to have a second tournament because I want to see these people play. You know, I want to see these people play as well as those people play. Okay, I'm like, can we just have a tournament like every weekend of just huge people? I can't afford that, you know. But no, so that is the Champions Cup that will be on the 5th of September. Again, this is the first round, best of one. You do see some people got buys into this second round, so those people are safe. The first people up, they got to be extra sweaty. Yeah, best of ones are tough. I wish I could do just best of threes, right? But that would take forever. But best of one, then into the best of threes, with the final being a best of 5, and the winner gets the spot in the main tourney, the dark horse, the person who can come in, hype everything, and then sweep the entire thing. So I am really excited. I don't know who I think has the best chance here. I want to say, I mean, I know Vinnie is very, very strong. But it's real tough. I mean, you have so many good players here that, you know, I don't necessarily want to, you know, go, I think this person's going to win, because then that's going to put the pressure on them. Yeah, and then they're going to be like, oh no, Shogun said that I'm going to win, but it's going to be Muzi. It's going to be Muzi. He's the legendary player.
I was going to say, but I think it's Muzi.
I mean, his anger and his rage are legendary. He's going to scare all of them.
The first person so bad that the rest of the people are just going to quit.
That's right. He's got copy pasta made of him. I mean, how can you lose now, right? But I mean, again, it's very big tournament, very big names. It is going to be very, very hype. And I mean, this tournament, like I said, is just literally the appetizer for the main course, which we will be having videos going over all of the people in the main tournament ahead of this one that should be coming out shortly. We're going to obviously have a lot more to talk about when we talk about some of these top tier legend players that are going to be just absolutely nutty. People who have, you know, like everything in the game and everything in the game geared, right? So you never know what it is that they're going to pick. I know there's a couple of people that can just completely shift their entire play style mid-draft, and it's just it's so nutty, it's so crazy. But get hype, get ready, be there. I'll catch you guys later. I'm Shotgun Shogun. That's Deity. All of the stuff's in the description. Go subscribe to him. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
All right.
bracket.